sir, and good afternoon to all of you. In fact, what I see is that because of the time that I have, maybe around 5 minutes or so, it will not be possible for me to address a couple of issues which have been discussed and what, but definitely what I'll be talking about would be looking at some of the aspects and the issues which have been talked about in terms of duplication of efforts which are happening, in terms of the management issues, in terms of the capacities which are required, in terms of relooking at the various e-governance initiatives, primarily the SSDG, so that it is able to serve the purpose for which it was actually drafted, primarily to address the architecture piece. So I think that's well taken, sir, and I'll try and bring this forward, though I have been talking and sharing this also within the ministry, that we need to bring it down only to one application, primarily to look at end-to-end FAT, the final acceptance testing, and bring this middleware in order to ensure that interoperability and joint-up services, primarily for which it was actually meant, is available in the center and the states where it is being put up as early as possible. So with this, let me just quickly go on to, while I had a presentation trying to talk about the data centers, but I'll try and move forward. We all know that as a part of the infrastructure initiative, we are setting up data centers across the country, and 21 of them are operational, and we do see the next 5 to 6 coming up in the coming year. But I will not drill down more on this, sir. And what we are trying to, the important, not only it is the data centers, we have the national data centers, we also have data centers set up by the state governments and certain private data centers which are serving the government department. So there is a huge infrastructure available in the country. But if I try and see, is it optimally used? As Chairman rightly said and others also talked about, it is not optimally utilized. There's a whole lot of duplication which is happening. In fact, even if you go back and look at your data centers, it's primarily the co-location services. And if you go and see the CPU utilization, you would see it's only 10%, 20%. It's only at the peak maybe for a month or so where you go to 80% of the utilization. So there is a requirement to look at how do you optimally utilize. And if you see within your state government, have all the departments, not even 50% of the departments would have actually come to the data center per se. So the requirement is huge, and you see more than 50 to 60% of the data center getting utilized. So what is it? We need to see how do we optimally use. What is the way we try and do this? Power utilization, space utilization. You talk about a whole lot of things, licenses. There's a huge maintenance cost that you're going to see once you get into the operation phase. And the states are going to face a big challenge after 5 years when the funding from the central government is going to stop. So these are things to be rethought at this moment. Another important thing which has been told by Secretary also in the morning, speeding up the IT procurement. In fact, a department would be wanting that I want to bring the service in the next 1 month's time. I can do the software development, but I have to go through that long procurement cycle. So there is a need. Can somebody just tell me, this is the infrastructure, please take it, and this is available. So there is a need to see how the entire IT procurement is changed. If you see, primarily, even in the e-governance project I've seen, you see the peak happens in most of these, whether it's the results, whether it's income tax, even the MCA 21, all of there's a peak, 1 month peak, 2 months peak. But when we buy the infrastructure, we have to buy it for the peak to ensure that the procedural hassles, we don't have to have again and again, which means we are again investing a whole lot of money, and that technology keeps getting obsolete in the cycle of 3 years or 4 years. So there is a need for us that today I need something like this, and tomorrow as I need the scalability is available to me. That's the need that you're looking at, so that the cost is optimally utilized. Again, as Sir Secretary mentioned in the morning, what you see is a whole lot of same applications being developed across the country. There are something like 27 plus land record server applications across even just by NIC per se, that has been available in the country. How do you handle? You're not going to invest. Now there's a maintenance cost, there is a customization cost, there's huge law. There is a requirement to see how you could actually look at replicating some of these best practices and ensuring that you have an application which is configurable, customizable, available on demand for somebody. And if these can be made available, as Secretary mentioned, on an app store, centrally where I go and see this is what is available. And an app store not where just you have the applications where you could download or you run it on the cloud, but where you have a complete ecosystem. Because what happens is, I download, who's going to customize? There is a requirement. Then you start looking for a vendor who's going to do it for you, which means you're looking at a marketplace. You're talking about commoditization of a service. You have transparent prices available there. You have software auditors empaneled. You have developers empaneled. So the entire ecosystem is available for everybody. So there is a need to look at and bring this paradigm shift. So at the end of it, what I'm trying to look at is consolidation. I'm trying to see a uniform and a unified cyberspace which is going to simplify the life, and using ICT to ensure that you have good governance, which is important. I just put this line of multi-tenancy because that's coming up from the applications perspective. Every state is a country in itself in India. So it's important that I have, or the application I build, that supports that multi-tenancy. So that's something very, very relevant for a country like India. So let me just look at, I'm only focusing here, sir, not going into the other topics, but this is extremely relevant, which will address some of them if we take a holistic approach here. That's an important aspect. We don't build silos, which we have, I should not be saying, but as a part of the NEGP, there's a whole lot we need to still address to see that uniform piece. But this is actually the next steps as a part of the NEGP, which will bring those. Let's look at this. You know, I was trying to see, so the issues, the need of the hour, what are they trying to say? We try to look at agility, we try to look at the improved scalability, elasticity, so on-demand service. So what is it? We are trying to look at utility-based services, something like the way you get the water bill, electricity. So can I bring that paradigm shift in the way the IT is provisioned? So that's where we are looking at. If I look at the definition of cloud per se, that is looking at, yes, you can, cloud talks about on-demand network access of a pool of resources which are configurable, available, you can self-provision them on demand. So this is, and with minimum management, as sir was mentioning from UP Jivesh Nandanji, that management is going to be a bigger challenge for us. So let's look at, if this is so, then government has to look at. Internationally, if you look at the cloud initiative, UK, US, Singapore, Korea, Japan, all of them have started cloud. I won't say in a very big way, but yes, at least for non-critical applications, cloud is being leveraged. And UK, for that matter, they've come up with a huge cloud store with almost 3,000 services, whether it's infrastructure, whether it's consulting, whether it's a software, it's a complete marketplace. So there is an important initiative, which has been started worldwide. Let's see in India where we are. Of course, the government policies are talking about it. And in India, in bits and pieces, this initiative has started. The need is to come up with a holistic approach for a country so that we do not make the same mistake in terms of creating silos, in terms of announcing a policy, the implementation of which becomes a big challenge. So let me quickly go on. What have we done as a part of the National Cloud Initiative by Government of India? We call the GI Cloud. This has been coined as Meghraj. As part of this initiative, Government of India had constituted 2 committees and to look at various aspects. One of them, which is the GI Task Force, that has to primarily look at how the cloud can be adopted by government. So what are the policies, what are the strategies, what are the implementation initiatives that have to be taken? However, there is a separate working group which has been set up under the chairmanship of Chris Gopalakrishnan, primarily to address issues of legal, jurisdiction, cross-border, so that what is it that India has to do so that India becomes a hub for cloud services. You can export cloud services, and you can actually see how the multinationals can come and set up the cloud in the country. So with this initiative, I'm glad to announce today that we have the under the GI Cloud, the two very important reports, the policy reports, the strategy direction paper, and the implementation roadmap approved by Honorable Minister, and they are now available on the website. And as a part of those reports, we already have a very clear vision, not drilling down. You can download the reports, but the vision and the policies are talking about the new applications that we, okay. So two important aspects of this report, not drilling down into, is the new applications that you build should be cloud ready. And of course, I'll not drill out, can all applications be cloud ready, but there is certain aspects one can look at. And of course, to ensure that first evaluate the usage of the GI Cloud per se. Now, what is this GI Cloud? The important aspect is we had to study the various scenarios, the interoperability aspects, the portability aspects, the demand aspects across and within India to see what is the best fit for the cloud architecture in India. And we've come up with what we call a discrete cloud computing environment, which is you're talking about multiple national clouds and the state clouds, but all of them governed by a common set of policy, guidelines, and frameworks. And the services which will be provisioned by these set of clouds, they will be made available through one central service directory. So if you look at this architecture per se, it talks about the center of the GI Cloud Service Directory. Now this has a place, because if you look at the demand and if the policy comes up and the government says you implement it, are you geared up to really give infrastructure as a service from day one? No. You have to look at even the current infrastructures which are available in the government cannot really address the demands. There is a need for private to come in. But my colleague just mentioned about the data security. So based on the sensitivity of the data, we will have to see what are the applications which can go into the public cloud, what are the applications which will reside within the government clouds. So this architecture is addressing all aspects, and we do see joint and a collaborative effort with the government and the center, so that issues of management of the infrastructure, the demand, they are taken up and mitigated in the best possible way. We have a huge infrastructure governance system, because governance is going to be an important aspect you want to run this initiative. So there is a complete governance which of course is available. We have the architecture management office, because here government should primarily play the role of a semi-regulator, I would say, and give a fair playground for the private to help government in leveraging the cloud services. So you talk about the architecture management office, you talk about the operations management office, cloud utilities, and whole lot of entities which are going to help in the operations and the management of the entire GI Cloud per se. So I'll not go beyond this. As far as the progress is concerned, I've just mentioned the reports are out. And as a part of the state data centers also, we have already issued the cloud RFP, and we are enabling the data centers. They're all going to be a part of this cloud. And this cloud vision is going to see that in the next 5 years, there's a consolidation happening. It's going to see a future where some of the data centers who are not able to manage subsequently will be able to be a part of one of the national clouds for managing their infrastructure per se. So other activities, we've already initiated national clouds, national app stores. We are coming up with a center of excellence on cloud computing, and then an exercise on the demand assessment for the entire country which has started. So I will not go into the cloud challenges. There are challenges, but the challenges are When you look at the private clouds, it is possible to mitigate the challenges. There are technologies available. It's only when you go into the cross-border jurisdiction across the countries, there are certain acts, and the Privacy Act has to be strengthened in the country, so I'll not go. At the end of it, I would only mention that for cloud to reign e-services, there's a huge infrastructure. Government has already taken initiative right from the technology and the organizational perspective. And I'm sure that in the next 1 year, we are going to see this cloud giving the infrastructure for the e-services to leverage and the cloud to reign e-services. Thank you.